Okay, let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Snaggin Night Live. It is Thursday night, June 5th. I cannot believe it's June already. I have a different co-host with me tonight. I want everybody to welcome Yak Short himself. What's going on, man?
What is up? How are you guys?
How
Hope
you
you guys
doing,
are all
Steve?
doing great. I can't complain, man. Like I said, it's life's good.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I know I'm doing I had a fantastic day. You know, last couple of days I've stopped taking some of my my medicines per my doctors, so it's been a little stressful, I guess I could say. But today was a good day, so just take one day at a time and keep moving forward.
I definitely get that.
We got let's say hello to people in chat real quick. We got Mike Sampson. Sampy's usually one of the first ones in here. How you doing, Sampy? Thanks for coming in, buddy. There's Pontoon Jody Catfishing. There's Mr. Gimpy saying hello. There's Uptown Chrissy Brown. How you doing, Miss Chrissy? Thanks for coming in. Then we got Lisa BurritoeCatfishingLady. How you doing? 922 Crappie Barbecue. He says, "Oh crap." Hey, sis. Catch fish with us. Howdy, y'all. What's going on, Chris? Burrito. Lisa said, "Bobby, I was going to message you earlier, but I forgot." Lisa forgot something? I think I'm going to make sure I put that in my calendar.
But say no comment. No comment.
Let's see. 922 Bobby said he heard from Daryl today. Hope all is going better. I did message Daryl last night. I haven't heard from him this morning. Other than his Facebook post saying that he talked to the surgeon and they don't think he's going to need surgery surgery. There's going to give him a couple days in the hospital to heal up and get better. So Lisa said they've talked to him some today.
That's all I saw was a Facebook post myself. So
yeah. Crappy day, Darren. What's going on? Lisa said, "Oh, Austin looks different."
just a smidge. Just a smidge.
Yeah. He shaved his beard. That's it.
Yeah.
There's Charles Breckenridge saying, "What's up, gentlemen?"
Howdy, howdy.
And then Lisa says, "Hey, Yak."
Lisa.
There's Greg Burtis, our friend from down in Louisiana, saying hello, Dustin and Yak.
Hello, hello.
Bill Reddick Outdoors saying hello, folks. Thanks for coming in, Bill. Let's see here. Randy O. Gray Hair Swain, what's going on, brother?
That right there is a troublemaker. If you've never fished with Randy, he is a troublemaker.
Let's see. I got the pleasure of fishing with Lisa and Randy at the gathering. That was awesome.
They're actually the first people I ever jug fish with, and it was
Nice.
different.
I still haven't done that, and Lisa was supposed to give me some jugs, but she never did. She did. She was nice enough to give me a pair of Bluetooth headphones, though. So
all is forgiven.
Charles Breckenridge said, "I think I'm seeing double minus the background. The two guys talking look identical."
Wasn't there somebody else that thought you and I were related to? I feel like there was somebody else that made that comment at some point in the past.
I don't remember, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, I know what it was. It was somebody when we took a picture of us fishing at the gathering. Somebody made the comment and asked if you're my brother. That's what it was.
Gotcha.
Like he is, but
saying even all.
Not by blood. So
right.
You're my brother, but not my blood.
There you go. So we'll get this show started just by talking about a little bit about the show from Wednesday night from Trophy Seeker Outdoors. Daryl was going to do a show, going to do a raffle. Most of you probably already know, but they're talking the raffle to support Steve Douglas, to help him out with all the issues and struggles he's been going through this year so far. Daryl ended up having to go to the hospital that night, so they're going to postpone the raffle. We don't have a date yet that I'm aware of. If that changes, or if that's already different, please somebody send me a message and let me know so I can let everybody here know. However, so they're still taking donations, and the raffle is $5 a ticket. And I don't remember the breakdown. They don't have it here on the screen, but the more you donate, the better the deal is for the raffle tickets. So
I think it's 3 for $10 was the next level up.
Okay, and
if I remember correctly,
6 or 8 for 20 or something. I don't remember what it was.
Something like that. That sounds right. But yeah,
Let's see. Wabash Knight said Randy, the new golden girl. Burrito. Oh, Lisa doesn't like that. Lisa doesn't like anybody talking about her husband in a dress. So it's a touchy subject for her. Lisa did say, Dustin, it will be announced as soon as I get it for the new date. Awesome. Appreciate that. Wow, Greg Berger said it was 92 today with 102 heat index in Louisiana. Ooh.
I will say all the stuff they got up for the raffle, that's a lot of good stuff there. If you guys have never messed with the F.O.A rods, they're good. The B-cap boards are well made. The Fat Boy rigs, I know Dustin actually loves the Flatcher rig. I don't know which one for sure they're putting out there for the thing, but I know he's a big fan of those too. Bob and a couple other people are definitely obsessed with the Rip and Lips rod, including Randy, actually, I believe, also works with them. So it's good stuff for sure. And honestly,
$500 and $200 in cash being given out.
Yeah, that's pretty insane too.
A trip with Creole's guide service.
I saw that too.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for Creole getting that business up and running.
Oh, dude, no kidding, man.
Everything works out fantastic for him.
I hope it does too.
Thank you, Randy. He said 1 for 5, 3 for 10, 6 for 20. And I'm gonna throw a Darrylism out there and say, don't give till it hurts, give till it feels good. So
exactly.
So if you're able to give to help out, again, all the money goes to help out Steve Douglas. They had a big lawsuit. Monster Drinks was suing Monster Rod holders because of the name.
Really?
Yep. So that was a long, drawn out lawsuit, and Steve Douglas ended up winning that suit. So, so that I'm sure that was pretty expensive. And then of course the floods that came through flooded his shop and his house.
I did hear about that.
So they got to deal with all that. And then now with the bone cancer diagnosis and the surgery he just had, I'm sure there's medical bills that he's dealing with. So, if you can help out in any way, I can talk firsthand how much this community helped me and my family when I was in a tough spot, a year ago. So, I know what it means. I know Steve Douglas is a proud man. I get that, but it means a lot when people from the community come together and help you out when times are tough. So, so if you can give to help out, even if you don't want to put in for the raffle, just if you can donate any money, I'm going to leave at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see the Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo accounts for Daryl Morris. His real name is Kenneth. So that's what's going to show up on the Venmo and the PayPal account, D Precision or D Morris Precision Cabinets at yahoo.com. It comes up as Kenneth Morris. So that is Daryl. I can vouch for that. I've sent money.
We have to.
V said, no, I'm winning the Creole trip. That's right. Randy said if you spend more than $20, you get a towel from the gathering, a bait towel. So
Can always use another towel.
yeah, absolutely. Towels are a commodity when you're out there on the water, or even if you're on the bank. Bait towels are something you absolutely need because, I mean, even though I still wipe my hands all over my clothes.
Yeah, there's definitely a certain level of slime you don't want to have in your clothes.
I will say the one thing I use the bait towels for the most is when I bait my rods. I don't like grabbing the rod butts with slimy fish guts and stuff.
That's fair.
So I'll bait my rod up and then I'll put it in the rod holder, or I'll hold it somehow, and I'll wash my hands off before I cast it out. I don't like getting
Makes
all
sense.
my rod or the butts of all my rods all slimed and gunked up. So
Hello, Tom. He said, "Hey, Dustin and Yak."
what's up, Tom? Thanks for coming in, man. Randy said Steve asked Daryl today if he needed to start a raffle for Daryl. Oh man. Yeah, Steve. Apparently, Steve did not know about this raffle in the beginning. So, but he knows about it now.
Sure.
But
It's only been posted everywhere on everything for a while now.
the waffle. I guess they got to call it a waffle online instead of a raffle.
Yeah,
Palmetto Cats. Kevin says, "Are these guys twins?" Maybe.
probably. If I can get one of those sick
Maybe.
F.O.A. jerseys you got on, or sorry, Team Snaggin with your jersey. My bad. Either way,
Would you
maybe
call it?
they called it an F.O.A. jersey on accident. I was right.
Always lap the rep F.O.A.
Yes,
Fred and Nina are fantastic.
they are 100%. They good quality stuff, good quality people.
Absolutely. That's all you can ask for in a company, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the customer service is already top notch. I mean, I don't know if they could even improve it at all, to be honest.
Now, Freddie's one of those guys that he don't argue with you. If you say something wrong, he'll fix it. So, Wabash Nate said, "I'm hoping for Mr. Gimpy winning the Creole trip." That would be awesome.
It would be.
V said, "Kevin, I asked if they were related too, and so did a few more."
Well, like I said, the first person I heard it from was a random person on Facebook. So,
well, I'm sure we're going to hear that a lot more coming up here real soon.
Sure.
We'll get into that here in a minute. Randy said Steve found out about it on Tuesday about the raffle.
If he made it all the way to Tuesday before finding out, then Daryl did a pretty good job. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I will say one more thing on the Daryl thing. It kind of ties to the raffle. The W.O.T.S, however you pronounce the Way Out There tournament series that Lisa, Randy, and Daryl have put it on this year. There is a tournament coming up next weekend. It is the dragging tournament.
I'll be there
on the 14th from, I want to say 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Something like that.
But, and Daryl, if you can, or I'm sorry, Randy or Lisa, if you can verify that for me, that would be awesome. Lisa said, "How's my niece doing?"
She's at her friend's house for the first non-family sleepover she's ever had. So we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. I was telling him before the show, I remember those days, and I still remember getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and going over and picking up my kid because I didn't want to stay the night anymore.
Well, like I said, Shane is the one on call for that, so I'm good.
Randy said Steve has been a little busy lately and had not been surfing the web.
I mean, that's fair, given all the stuff he's been going through.
Absolutely.
But still.
Palmetto Cat said, "Hey, everyone, going to be doing a live prayer session for Steve next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. All are welcome to come up and pray or pray in chat."
Good stuff.
Hey, Jerry Hagar, 419 Fishing and Powder Coating. Thanks for coming in, my friend. Good evening, y'all, from Nebraska. Jerry, I am actually originally from Colorado. I've been to Nebraska a few times in my childhood. I actually got a ticket in Nebraska when I was in the Army, a speeding ticket, because one of the speed limit signs was covered by a tree, and I didn't see it.
Likely excuse.
That's my last. Well, that's my last memory of Nebraska.
Oh, that yeah, that can definitely set the tone for you on how you feel about a state.
Darren said if he was up here, it would be the Three Stooges comments. All right, Lisa. So you're telling me that the tournament next Saturday is 8 a.m. Eastern time? Man. Ed Jenkins says, "Evening, catfishing folks."
Evening.
How you doing, Ed?
Are you partaking in that tournament, Dustin?
I've got it. The only thing I've got to do, yes, yeah, I'm going to be participating, but I've got to get my boat back to my house because my trolling motor wasn't working.
Oh.
But I think it's because when I was fishing, I was dragging baits in one of the LFTL tournaments by myself, and I ended up getting, I think, 2 different lines wrapped up in the prop of my trolling motor. It worked for the rest of that day, and then the time after that. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Ed. However, when I went out for the LFTL Midnight Madness tournament, I was going to drag a pretty good distance back upriver that night. Well, I could hear the motor engaging, but the prop wouldn't spin. So I think all that line got wrapped up around the prop shaft. So I just got to take it off and get it all cleaned up. I just got to find time to do that. I am off on Monday, so I'm hoping that's going to give me enough time to. I got to take my my baby in for her first. I mean, my truck in for its first oil change. So yeah, so it's so we're still doing the raffle to help out Steve Douglas as soon as Daryl gets better and gets out of the hospital and up and moving around again. Back to my comment about the W.O.T.T.S Way Out There tournament series. So you're gonna want, as long as Daryl is back up and walking around back to himself. Hey, Jody, welcome back in.
Hello.
You're gonna want to watch that tournament because Daryl made a bet on his show last week that if they reached a certain dollar amount, that he would wear a dress during the Dragon tournament. It was a comment about something about a dragging tournament, and so somebody inferred drag for that. So anyway, long story short, Daryl, we met the goal. So Daryl is now on the hook to wear a dress for the Dragon tournament on the 14th. So
now I will say, if you have sensitive vision or you have nightmares easily, you may not want to watch it, but you should still be there to support the tournament.
That is correct. But there's also another surprise. Wait, there's more. Ryan Bortz, if we reach, I think it's $2,500, then Ryan has to wear whatever Daryl selects for him to wear. Because he will be on the boat with Daryl for that tournament.
That could get awful.
But Ryan did say he's not wearing a dress.
There's a lot of things that aren't a dress.
Ed Jenkins saying, "Could you just blur Daryl on the screen?" If only it was that easy, Ed.
Right.
Only it was that easy. So yeah. So keep that on your calendars. Next Saturday, the 14th, from 8 a.m. Lisa, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time, the Way Out There Tournament Series dragging tournament, where everybody will be dragging baits. It's going to be fun. And then the following week, The 21st is the next live fishing tournament league tournament, and that's going to be the chicken challenge, where you can only use chicken for bait.
That would be a fun one. Oh, you know what? Hang on. We missed a comment from Lisa. Apparently, the bet for the dress has been postponed because Daryl will be fishing with family that tournament.
Oh, I thought he was going to be fishing with Ryan Bortz. Daryl will not be wearing the dress during the Dragon tournament. He'll be fishing with family, so that will be postponed. Okay. Well,
he's got to spare his family.
I'm not 20 minutes behind Miss Chrissy. I'm caught up this time. I don't have Daryl up here distracting me, so I can read comments while we go through the show. See how that works? Yeah, Lisa, just keep us in the loop as far as when that's going to happen, so we can make sure we let everybody know, because we gotta let everybody at least get a glimpse. It may not be a glimpse they want, but they need to get a glimpse of Daryl in a dress. PMB Catfishing Paul Boy, what's up, man? Says, hey, Dustin, Yak, and everyone. Nate, you better be careful. She will block you.
Oh.
Dustin, what channel do I watch for the tournament? Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. The tournaments will be on. I think Daryl's one of the hosts, and if I'm not mistaken, Stan is the other host. But please correct me if I am wrong, Lisa or Randy. I'd appreciate that.
If I'm not mistaken, Lisa puts all the links for all the. If I'm not mistaken, Lisa puts the links for those on her Facebook group for that tournament series. So if you guys are on Facebook, follow that. It'll give you a chance to get a hold of them too. If you don't have them already.
Yeah. Go check out go sign up for the Way Out There tournament series. Here, I'll tell you what it looks like. That's the logo. Way Out There tournament series league, whatever. They have a Facebook group. Lisa manages that, and it's you have to request to become a member. 2 Stands and Daryl. All right, there you go. 2 Stands Fishing will be one of the hosting channels, and the other one will be Trophy Seeker Outdoors. No, Jody, we have not gotten to that part yet, but we're going to come up on that here in just a minute. So I wanted to make sure I got everything covered for the raffle for Steve Douglas. Let everybody know that Daryl is doing better, and that he still will be wearing a dress at some point on some channel, probably during some tournament. I wanted to make sure we covered the Way Out There tournament series tournament next weekend for the Dragon tournament and then the LFTL. So my agenda is covered, I believe, except for saying hello to Gregory Lemon, one of our #1 fans. Said, "My and I are you going fishing on the boat tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at Cheney Reservoir, Kansas." I'm guessing him saying him and his dad. That's awesome.
That is awesome. I wish I
could watch those. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So they've been crushing the crappie and stuff, but yeah, they go on at work, so I can only ever see the after shots, but they've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, I try to sometimes put them on my phone at work, but sometimes I can get distracted easily, so I don't want to do that. I got a lot of big projects I'm working on, so when it comes to that, I just I try to catch up afterwards. But V said, "I'm so excited for the Disabled Outdoors veterans on Sandusky Bay Saturday." Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope that goes well.
One of these days, I'd love to fish Sandusky Bay, and to do something like that, the Disabled Outdoors veterans, that would be awesome.
Well, and that's the difference between just not that I'm trying to bash any group of people, obviously, but just regular fishermen versus somebody who isn't able to go out by themselves, and you're giving them that opportunity. They're always more grateful. So, I mean, it's definitely good for both the captain and for the fishermen.
And I could tell you, from personal experience, not from my military service, but just from, life in general, everything that's happened to me, going out on the water takes your mind off of things. I really wish my cousin Brad, he lives in Oklahoma. He joined the National Guard right as I was getting ready to get out of active duty, and he, of course, that was 2001 time frame, 2002, and as soon as he graduated as a combat medic from his basic training and AIT, his National Guard unit got deployed overseas. So, and now, he struggles mightily with PTSD. And I wish, that's one of the things that I wish I could get him out here and get him out on the boat as much as possible to get his mind off of things. But so I can tell you, I know that fishing, or even just being out there away from everything, kind of takes your mind off of, what's going on in your life. So it's definitely, I can say I'm sure it probably definitely helps everybody that's that goes out there, especially during those not just the veterans, but the disabled veterans and any other veteran tournaments or fishing organizations that help the vets. So
yeah, I believe just at CatCon alone, there was 4 different veterans groups, and they all do different tournaments throughout the country. But there's definitely a lot more out there nowadays than there used to be. It's cool to see.
Absolutely. All right. So on that note, so I will say that not long after CatCon, I got a message from my friend Yak Shore here asking if I was interested in fishing with him. Where is my cousin at? Ed, he's in Oklahoma City. Well, I don't know that he's in Oklahoma City anymore. He was, but I'd have to figure out where he's at now. Last I saw him was my grandmother's funeral, but last I knew they were in Oklahoma. So, oh, awesome! I'll have to reach out and get in touch with you, Ed, and see if I don't know that he would, but it would definitely be worth a shot to get him out with somebody. But anyway, thank you for that, Ed. I appreciate that. But I got Yak reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested in starting another show with him, a fishing show. And so, after talking with my wife about it, she's like, at first she's like, "No, you can't do that." And she's like, "I'm just kidding."
She would do
that. So absolutely, we've talked about it, we've discussed it, and so we are going to be starting a fishing show on Saturday evenings. What time are we doing it from yet?
10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
I know there's already a lot of shows. I know. Well, there's a couple of shows. I know Possum and them do a show. Mark said, "Wow, my long lost younger brother's on screen."
What's up, Mark?
How you doing, Mark? Thanks for coming in, buddy. So we will be fishing Saturday nights from the 14th, right?
14th of June, the first one. Yep, right after the Way Out There tournament, and after Muskrat's kids tournament. They're both on Saturday, that same Saturday. So it's gonna be a busy day for fishing. And
so I'll be out there Saturday morning, and then I'll bring the boat home and then go back out Saturday night.
Yeah, like I said, the 10 to 2, it's kind of to beat the heat. Down here, especially where I'm at, it gets really, really hot. I was gonna do something anyway, and then after I got the chance to actually fish with Dustin in my boat at the gathering, got to talk to him more about it, and it definitely, I think it'll be fun. But like I said, for here, at least in the summer, the bite tends to be better, and it's definitely more comfortable at night. But then it works with my family schedule too, because obviously my daughter will be in bed and whatnot. So I'm not taking away from my family time to be able to do this.
Mark said, "Yeah, I may go live that time too." Well, if you're ever out, That would be awesome. So Yak did all the was the brainchild behind all this. So we did work together and come up with a thumbnail that I think looks fantastic. So I want to show that real quick. And so Whisker's Gone Wild. So that's an awesome thumbnail. I like your new logo, Yak.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. And we'll be Saturday nights, 10 p.m. till 2 a.m.
And like I said, we're starting June 14th. The idea is to go through the major heat part of the summer and then into the fall where the night bite's still good. Not too crazy in the fall. I think it'd probably end up being mid-October, probably at the latest. Give or take. I mean, obviously the fish is good for both of us. We can keep going, but kind of break it off before the holiday season set in and before it gets too cold.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Cause wintertime, especially at nighttime. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm all about fishing in the cold. I'm okay with that, but I would rather not fish in the cold and at night.
Sure. Well, and obviously we debated about whether or not it would be just an actual just us fishing show, kind of doing whatever we wanted, or if we wanted to do something a little bit different. And Dustin had mentioned the idea of maybe doing a specific technique each week, where him and I would do the same technique together, and then we could answer questions from people that wanted it. Because him and I both discussed it and talked about it. And one of the biggest issues with a lot of tutorials, I'm not bashing anybody out there, but a lot of stuff when you're doing those tutorials, especially on the fly, you don't get that instant response. Something gets missed. Maybe a question isn't answered a certain way, or maybe a terminology is used that somebody doesn't understand. So being able to have that chance to ask the questions live and get the answers live might help somebody out. So this is it's not so much like a class. Obviously, we're going to be fishing and having a good time, but we'll, throughout the night, give out pointers or discuss what we're doing or whatever. That was the idea anyway. But one of the points of coming on here tonight with him was to not only to advertise the show, but get some input from you guys too. If there was something that you guys would like to see, or if that's, if that sounds like an absolutely terrible idea, we would like to have some other people's input as well. Because in the end, we're fishing. I mean, him and I are going to have a good time either way. So, but, obviously we want to put on something that people want to watch and can have a good time with and whatnot. So.
Yep, absolutely. And to expand on that a little bit, when we talk about the different styles of fishing, we're talking like anchor fishing. We're talking dragon baits. We're talking suspend drifting. We're talking bumping. So of course we fish in two totally different types of water systems, right?
Yep.
So the James River, I can find a place that I can go bumping. But the places I go are going to be different than the places that Yak goes, and for different reasons, right? They're not. I mean, yep. they're. So that's one of the things. One of the things that I really wanted to do when I came into YouTube and when I started doing this show was to try to teach people something, to try to help others that may have questions about certain types of fishing or certain things that we do, and that's why I think this show was really kind of in the wheelhouse of what I wanted, or what what I like to do, what I look for in a fishing show. So, and we're going to try to get in as deep as possible in location, like where we are, why we chose that location, what intrigues you about that location. Jeff Beal said I have earbuds in and can actually hear you. Awesome. Wabash Nate said, I'd like to see you guys try the stinger hooks in different waters.
So stinger hooks, if I'm drifting or if I'm just suspended over a spot, if I am not touching the bottom, I love using stinger hooks. I mean, there's absolutely no reason not to use them, in my opinion, with the exception of regulations, right? I mean, I'm in Tennessee. That you're only allowed to have 3 hooks per rod. So obviously, if you have a giant piece of bait with 2 hooks and a stinger hook, you're at your max, right? So I mean, more hooks in the water, more snags, obviously, but definitely potential for more fish. So why not?
Absolutely. And see, and then those are the kind of that's the kind of input we're looking for. Questions, comments, suggestions. That's what we're looking for, so we can make the show more intriguing and even if somebody like that. So if somebody has a comment that say they've never, and I'm gonna use Steve Hooker Thomas as an example on Wednesday night show, Daryl's show last night. He had never seen or heard of dragon baits. He wasn't familiar with what that was. So and Lisa or Randy explained to him it's like trolling for stripers or trout or whatever. So, but it's things like that. We wanted to demonstrate different styles of fishing, why you would choose that style in the location you're at. Where some times of year there may a certain style may be better. Some situations a certain style may be better than, and we want to explain why we chose that. Excuse me. What the situation that provoked us to use that style, or even we fix or we decide to say, hey, we're going to go dragon baits. So now we've decided what we're going to do. Now we have to find a location on the body of water that we're going to be fishing that is ideal for that kind of fishing.
Right. Yeah. There is definitely no. Anchoring is probably the best one for just you can do it anywhere kind of thing. But most of these techniques, you really can only do it in certain situations for sure. And that's the stuff that somebody might say, oh, I'm doing it here. Well, why am I doing it here? Okay, well, obviously, if you're dragging baits, you're not trying to drag through every single tree you see, right? But at the same time, you may not have a mud flat available. So maybe you have to do a rock bed or whatever. So just, there's going to be little nuances and stuff, like he's saying. My wife put it best for me a long time ago when I was trying to figure out how to teach her how to fish. It's not that the person who's learning is ignorant or whatever per se. It's just as us as experienced fishermen or anybody teaching anybody anything. When you have experience, you sometimes forget what it's like to think about it from the beginning. So that's where the input really helps us out to help you guys out too.
Absolutely. There's Catfish Cowboy. Welcome in, buddy. The other Dustin. But yeah, so we'll try to one thing I just thought about talking about too is I want to emphasize the fact that neither one of us are professionals.
Oh, 100%.
So what we're going to be showing, talking about, demonstrating is what we do in the body of water that we're in and on the location that we chose, why we chose that location, how we do that style of fishing, why we decided to use that bait. Maybe it's a different size of bait for a different time of year. Maybe it's a different size of hook for a different type of bait. Maybe it's a different type of hook. So just to get into the nuances of why we do what we do, where we do it, right?
Yep.
So and again, you can always you have, what's your email, Anthony? What's a way people can reach out to you?
yakshoreoutdoors@yahoo.com. That is still the email I will be using, even with the name change. It's still gonna be yakshoreoutdoors@yahoo.com.
Awesome.
Keep it true to the roots.
Talk about your name change too.
So when I first made the channel, 4 years ago now, at that time I only bank fished and kayak fished. So that was where the Yak Shore came from. Bob made my logo. It's just something I had in my head. I'm like, cool. Hey, that'd be funny to have a yak with a kayak paddle and a fishing rod. But then I got my wife into fishing more so than she already was, and she wanted to be involved with it. And now I have a kid. Health reasons made it so I couldn't use the kayak anymore at the time. She wanted to go fishing more, and then Josie, when she was getting bigger, I couldn't just put her in a pack and play on the bank anymore. So that's when we got the boat. So we just kind of grew out of it. It's Yak's Fishing Adventures now. Still sticking with the nickname. You guys gave me that throughout the years, and my power just flickered. So if something happens, I'll be right back. But but yeah, so we kind of just grew out of it. It's not necessarily, it wasn't a aggressive change for any particular reason other than that. Plus it's also easier to put on a shirt, so if I ever do sell shirts, it'll be cheaper for everybody that way. The unfortunate issue with that logo I did have, the only way I could get them printed was with transfers, and unless you're doing like 100 transfers at once, they are crazy expensive.
Yeah, it's like $30 per.
And it depends on the size too. Yeah, exactly. And so it just was like it didn't make logical sense for us to stick with that particular logo anyway. But then, like I said, we couldn't change the name. The name stuck. Baby Yak, Mrs. Yak, all that good stuff. So, he'll forever be a mascot of the channel for sure. But yeah, new logo, new name. It's just time for change.
That's awesome.
But like I said, we're gonna keep the email and whatnot the same. Oh, for sure. And
people do that
we changed
all the time.
Right. And we went ahead and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I've changed all the socials and whatnot to be the new name too. So it'll still be easy to find us and everything.
Nice. We got there's Whisker Warrior, Rebel River Cat, Doug Tellie. What's going on, brother? Say hello, everyone. Hey, good evening, ladies. The wonderful ladies of Benoit Fishing Outdoors. What's going on? Thank you so much for coming in. I know it's past your bedtime. Appreciate you sticking past your bedtime and coming out hanging with us for a little bit. Let's see. Chrissy Brown said, "Baby Yak is my favorite, but I do love y'all."
She's everybody's favorite, as it should be.
Now, you were talking about the shirts, and I wanted to say that I wanted to kind of bring this up, but your segue was perfect. Your shirt is the very first shirt I got in the community.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this. It was Jody's show.
I do remember giving it away. I couldn't remember who it went to. So
yeah, you gave myself and Sean, because you said the first person to 100 points, or whoever gets 100 points will get a shirt.
Yep.
And then we ended up getting 204 points. So
I do remember that. Yes, that night was insane to watch you guys. It was ridiculous. It was just fish after fish. I mean, I'm not even talking small fish. They were big fish. It was nuts.
Right there towards the end of that last 45 minutes, I think at one point we had 2 30s and a 20 in the boat. Yeah,
it was awesome. You should clip that at some point if you haven't already, because that was a nuts crazy night for sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, so let's see, Rob Fox, everyone have a great. All right, Rob, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
Fantastic weekend. Jeff Darrow's doing better. He talked to the surgeon today. He's just going to have to stay in the hospital for a few days, get everything healed up, and he should be fine. I think they said diverticulitis.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just when seeds from fruit, I think is what that is.
I think it's some nuts too. My mother-in-law has it. So.
Okay.
She has to be careful. Otherwise, she's the same thing. She ends up being in the hospital for several days at a time if she gets into too much. And actually, hers, I want to say mushrooms can affect it too, but I'm not 100% on that. But I'm pretty sure, like you said, fruit seeds definitely. I know for sure it's nuts, but I think she said mushrooms too.
Ooh, Jody said, I heard a rumor there may be a Flathead Challenge show tomorrow as long as the weather cooperates. Uh-oh.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen the Flathead Challenge.
Absolutely.
It's funny because the last one I thought I hopped in ended up not being one. I actually caught a flathead.
And speaking of that, that may be something else we can do too, as we talk through the new show ideas and stuff. Maybe one night we can focus on channel cats. Maybe one night we can focus on just blues, and one night we can focus on flatheads, whatever technique we're using.
Well, and like you said, I mean, the fact that those three species, they do operate so differently. I mean, there's definitely certain techniques that are you're more prone to catch certain ones over others. So for sure,
Yep.
it would be an awesome idea.
Whose channel? Hey, Joshua says, whose channel is it going to be on?
That is still in discussion. Currently, for sure, it'll be on mine. We're going to be trying a different software that I use on my podcast, specifically because that allows me to record at least a 1080 file of the actual both his camera and my camera. That way, for some reason, if we're selected on one person or the other, later on we can clip it back. So I got to see what the limitations are on terms of multiple channels of the same website. You know, because some of them you can do multiple YouTube ones, and some of them only let you do one of each one. So I can only do one YouTube and one Facebook or whatever. And I gotta figure out what their limits are. But I already have that. I'm already paying for that for the podcast I was doing. So definitely gonna try using that while I still got it first. Worst case scenario, Dustin's been gracious enough to say we can use his StreamYard that he still has. So we'll definitely be live either way. It'll either be on Riverside or on StreamYard. So,
and we'll definitely let everybody know. I mean, it'll be on YouTube regardless. So,
yes.
You know, we'll definitely let everybody know when we post. I think you've already got the first one worked up.
I do have the first one scheduled on my channel. Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to share that tonight or not, so I went ahead and got it ready.
Awesome. Yep. So, so that we've already got the first one. We're gonna. I know I said in the beginning of this show that I was going to try to do a lot more and be a lot more prepared, but you know, life tends to get in the way. But I think with both of us kind of working together, we can do it. I think we can do a good job of trying to keep everybody informed of what channel we're going to be on for the week. We can post stuff on our community pages to let everybody know. And then we'll make it work so that everybody's aware and familiar with what channel we're going to be on if something changes or whatever. And then, excuse me, we can we'll definitely post what method of fishing that we're going to be using that particular week. So if anybody has any questions, suggestions, ideas, thoughts, anything, they can send us an email, put a comment in the chat of the video, because I mean, like people, you can already go onto Yak's YouTube channel and make a comment on the show, and he'll see it. So,
yep. But if you guys do that, that'll give us a head start on the questions and whatnot. Get ready to have answers, or if we weren't thinking about that thing, making sure we show it or whatever. And on top of that, speaking of that, I think if I'm not mistaken, the first episode we said we're going to anchor fish, and that's simply just to do the first episode, make sure everything runs smooth before we start doing some of the more technical techniques, if you will. Obviously, if you're sitting there trying to pilot your trolling motor in certain directions or certain contours and stuff like that, it's a little harder to see if your camera's working correctly. So we're going to take it a little bit easy the first night.
Absolutely. Butterflies in Sunshine, welcome in. She says diverticulitis is a very serious condition. I believe attacks can also be brought on by raw vegetables and other roughage.
The plants are trying to take over, guys. The plants are trying to take over.
And on that note, as far as doing the other show, I'm considering putting a pause on Snaggin Night Live if we're going to be moving to if I'm going to be moving and helping out Yak Shore or we're going to be doing this show together. So on Saturday nights, but I don't know for sure yet. I've got to mull it over. I've got to talk to my my family and friends about it to see if people still want me to continue to do the show. Please let me know. I really enjoy coming up here and chatting with everybody, hanging out with everybody. It's really a highlight of my week. And I know I promised to in the beginning of the year to try to put more like interviews and topics and stuff like that. But I don't know what it is, but Thursday sneaks up on me every single time. I mean, you know, you got Saturdays. Sometimes we have tournaments. Sundays I have stuff with my family. Mondays I get home as my day to kind of relax when I get home from work. Tuesdays I get home from work, I go straight to bowling, and then Wednesdays roll around. I'm like, crud, it's Thursday tomorrow already. I haven't got a show yet. So, you know, it's. I mean, I've been doing this for 3.5 years now, I think. So
It's an impressive record.
So I think I've may have missed one night. The show I think has gone with co-hosts all but one night. I think there was one night that I ended up not doing a show. But I even did a show when I was in the in recovery.
I remember that one.
So, but no, I'm thinking about it. I'm mulling it over. I don't know yet. It's just it's a lot of work, but I do enjoy it. So I'm not saying I am. I'm not saying I'm not. But well, I just wanted to throw that out there just in case I do make that decision. Everybody's aware. I don't blindside anybody. Crappy Day Darren saying, can a mod post Yak's channel just to make sure we are subscribed? Good.
I am working on it right now.
Benoit Fishing
said
wait,
I'm not a mod.
Very painful. There you go.
I am not a mod. It did not work.
Well, I can fix that. I don't know why you're not a mod.
You know what? I bet the name changed.
My YouTube channel.
I wonder if the name change messed that up for people because I was somebody else's. They had to remod me too. I didn't think about that. I thought maybe YouTube was just being mean, but it definitely could be for the name change.
Let's see. I gotta get on the guy who runs my YouTube channel. That's me, by the way.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Now I'm trying to see it. You're after butterflies and Greg. That's weird. It didn't show up on my. It doesn't show up on my.
That is weird.
That is weird because I have to do it in YouTube and I'm not seeing it. Can if
are you looking
at
Are you looking at if you're looking at the live chat on your actual YouTube tab, if you have it open?
Yeah.
You should be able to right click on my comment and make it there without having to do all the typing stuff.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see your comment.
Oh, here, I'll put another one. Hang on.
I'm looking right here between Butterflies and Greg Burgess, and I'm looking right there. And I don't see your comment. Oh, there it is. That one showed up.
I got you.
There you go.
Let's see if that worked this time. Aha, there we go. For those who need it, there's the link to the channel. Actually, I probably should have done a link to the video, but either way, you can get to it from there. If you click the live tab, it'll be the first one up there. It'll say it's scheduled.
So anybody out in chat have any questions or comments? There's any other suggestions? I know we already had the stinger hook suggestion. If there's any other suggestions you might have for our first evening next Saturday night from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. We're going to be anchor fishing, like Yak said. So just to kind of start things off with with some simplicity so that we don't get in over our heads on the first trying to drag, 4 planer boards and 2 baits behind us, trying to keep your trolling motor straight. And then, oh crap, my camera's not on, or
I'm 20 minutes behind in chat.
But I mean, there's still things we have to discuss in reference to the show. But like I said, if anybody has any, Greg Burgess says, hello, Yak, my brother.
Hello. He also said, Dustin, I enjoy watching your show and look forward to it every week. Keep up the good work. So I guess that's one vote for you. Keep on going.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. So we're still coming up. Dragging baits at night is super dangerous. Be careful when you do it.
Oh, for sure. I've ran into my fair share of random trot lines and snagging a sailboat and some other stuff. Now, I will say the sailboat was sunk under the bottom, just to be clear. It wasn't like somebody was actually out there sailing. But yeah, I came across it, and I definitely hooked into it. And I was looking at my fish finder. You could see the mast and everything. It was pretty crazy.
Wow. I will say that when I drag baits, especially at nighttime, if I'm by myself, I have a specific place I go that's off the main river. Where there's actually at nighttime unless there's somebody up on the beach where I fish, there's nobody else going to be in that area unless they're fishing too. And it's a really shallow area, and it's a hot spot during the summertime. So I definitely will not be dragging baits on the main channel during at nighttime, because when we still have barges coming up and down the channel or not up and down the river. I'll still never forget. My dad and I were out fishing the middle section. What do we call it? We call it the lower middle, James. So we got the upper, the lower upper, the upper middle, the upper lower.
You guys, instead of having just one lake and saying like, "Oh, hey, we're fishing the Tennessee River," it's like, "Oh, hey, we're fishing this specific section, and we're gonna call it its own special name."
Correct. So my dad and I were fishing that, and we went upriver, and we started bounding our way back downriver. Well, about 8 o'clock. It was in the summer, so the sun went down about between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, and we pulled anchor about, I think it was around 8:20, 8:30, and we started. I went on the right side of the river, going downriver, and looking downriver, it went straight for a bit, and then it banked left, and then it went back to the right. Well, the moon was out. It was a pretty bright moon that night, and it was casting the trees were casting a shadow over the river. And I looked downriver at the bend, and I saw a navigation light, or what I thought was a channel marker.
Oh no!
So it was all I saw was I saw a channel marker here and a channel marker here. Red right return. So I'm like, okay, they're on the right sides of the river. So I'm looking at the channel marker. So I'm a little bit off of the bank, because I don't know what's up on the shore. I don't remember what the tide was doing at that time. But regardless, all I remember is I don't go very fast. I go like 5 miles an hour when I'm out on the river at nighttime, because I can't see. I don't know, trees, whatever could pop up. So I'm going about 5 miles an hour. And eventually I look up and I realize that wasn't the moon casting a shadow of the trees down at the bend. That was the barge with no lights on except for his channel marker light, except for his marker lights.
Lights. Yeah. Jeez.
I was about 100 yards from the front of that thing before I realized what I was doing, and I had to veer off to the shore. Now I will say, I think it spooked him too, because my dad and I finally got all the way downriver to our final anchor spot, like at 3 o'clock in the morning. And we saw a barge coming back downriver, the same barge. And this time he had a spotlight.
Sure.
And he was blinding us.
Where's that boat? Yeah.
Exactly. So it scared the mess out of me that when we came up, I was within 100 yards of that thing, and that thing was massive.
Well, and barges can be dangerous even if they're sitting still and parked. I mean, one of the clips on my channel is I was fishing with Daryl. Go figure. And this boat came down, flying through downtown on the Tennessee River. I'm pretty sure it had 3 outboards on it. I mean, it was a huge boat, like something you'd see in the Caribbean or something, and it broke us off dislodged our anchor. We moved a little bit. Well, then we were going to change spots. So I went to pull up the anchor rope, because Daryl was making me do it because I'm the younger one, right? And I couldn't pull it up. It had moved us enough that it drifted under the tie-off cables for the barges that park. And so he come over, and him and I are both trying to lift this up and unhook these 1-inch steel braided cables off of this anchor. And we look back, and all you hear is scratching sound. And if it was not for the ugly stick rods being in his rod rack, his outboard would have got smashed. And we ended up breaking, one of those ugly sticks ended up breaking on the next cast. So that's how you break an ugly stick, apparently, is run into a barge with it. But so, I mean, and like people said, fishing at night in general, there's going to be a certain level of awareness that you have to have more so than during the day. During the day, you're kind of looking out more for pleasure boaters and stuff like that. But a lot of that stuff cuts out at night. At that point, it's just people like me who kind of go a little faster in the dark than they probably should. that may or may not have their lights working correctly and whatnot, or people that
I
just
can attest
blatantly.
to that.
I was wondering if you're gonna bring that up. I was we were flying back, and he's like, "Man, you're going a little faster than I would." And I'm like, "Do I need to slow down?" And he said, "No." So whatever.
Your boat.
That's fair. I mean, but your guys' lives were on the line, so I mean, I took your opinion into account. I do have in the process of parts to buy for the boat. I do plan on buying a couple of spotlights to be able to do that a little safer, rather than having that handheld spotlight all the time. I will say using the handheld spotlight is what cost me my F.O.A. hat the weekend of the gathering, unfortunately, because I stood up to use that spotlight and there goes the hat. So I gotta get with Freddie to get another one. But
I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Sure.
Tom, I'm sure we can get you a coffee mug with the new show logo on it. I'm sure that's doable.
Yeah, I imagine we can make that happen.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out something because I don't think they make those colors that I can use on my cricket.
I'm sure there's somebody somewhere that can make something happen. I'll have to look around, see what I can do.
But yeah, Tom, we'll try to get you a coffee mug. We know you love your coffee mugs.
He's only got a few.
He's got a Team Snaggin Whiskers mug that we gave that to him the first time Sean and Ryan and I ever went down to fish there, the dock with him and Michelle.
Well, there's definitely has never been a Yak Shore or Yak's Fishing Life coffee mug made yet. So, either or, but yeah, definitely the Whiskers. I'm presuming he's talking about the Whiskers Gone Wild logo in that particular comment, but yeah, it's something I've not really messed with much. I've done T-shirts and stickers, and that's about it so far.
Well, I know Tom would be happy to know that was the very first Team Snaggin Whiskers coffee mug ever made, and also the last Team Snaggin Whiskers coffee mug ever made. So you have one of a kind, Tom. But so yeah, so I know there's a lot to digest tonight. We went over a lot of information. But as always, please, if you want to reach out to me, you can always reach out to me at teamsnaggingwhiskers@gmail.com. And your email again was what again?
yakshoreoutdoors@yahoo.com.
Perfect. And then of course I've got to shout out Freddie and Nina for F.O.A. customsandgear.com. Please go check out their site. You could get pretty much anything and everything you need for fishing for bait all the way up to 100-pound catfish at F.O.A. Customs and Gear. I tell you, those rods will hold up to those. I mean, I think Sean, Epic and Sean caught it was a 90 or 92 or 100-pounder on an F.O.A. rod. If I'm not mistaken. Hey, there's Sandy Toes from Australia. Woo. How you doing?
Well, now we're global. We're international. Sandy. Yeah. Now we're international.
But anyway, yeah, go check out FOAcustomsandgear.com. And for the one thing you cannot get there, which is a reel, you can go check out River Cat's tackle, and you can get yourself an Ancient Mariner reel. Captain Sparrow has been fantastic partner to Team Snaggin Whiskers for the last 3 years. Fantastic reel. The Albatross reel. I still have the original 6,000 reels on my two F.O.A. effing rods, the 7'6" rods. But the Albatross reels have what's that?
They cast nice. I had the chance to use one while you were here. So,
but you can get an Ancient Mariner 6,000. You can get the Albatross reel, which the 6,000 has 17 pounds of drag to it. The Albatross jumps up to 40. So it's 40 pounds of drag on that Albatross reel. And then if you want to, well, I haven't used it as a bumping reel, but I know everybody praises the low profile reels. And I think Creel uses the new Ocean Tycoon from Ancient Mariner. It's his low profile reel. And I think Creel uses that for bumping, but I have the original Ancient Mariner or the original Ocean Tycoon reel. That's my favorite casting reel as far as the way it casts. It's so smooth and it casts a country mile. So please go check out FOAcustomsandgear.com and River Cat's Tackle. With River Cat's Tackle, and the Ancient Mariner gear. The Ancient Mariner, they have rods too. You can check those out. They're beautiful rods. But there's free shipping on that gear, and Ancient Mariner also has a lifetime warranty on their products. So I know for the reels, you have to pay to ship it back to him to fix it, but then he will ship it back to you and fix it and ship it back for free. So
one thing you missed, you guys are checking out F.O.A. Customs. Dustin does have a discount code too.
Absolutely. Use TSW10. There's a couple of more. Fever 10. TSW is spelled wrong. It's like FTW10, I think. Sandy Toe says, my brother is using Freddie's gear out on our Bass Lakes and bringing in some nice Saratoga. He's hooked. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I love that. I love that. That's right. Catch 10. You can use Swain 10 at River Catch Tackle as well to save yourself 10%. Jeff Beal said he'll be using Ancient Mariner this weekend. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Like I said, I can't say enough about the quality of products between both F.O.A. And Ancient Mariner, and the customer service is fantastic in both of those. For both of those, so I'm proud to partner with both of those organizations and companies, and I can't say enough about them. I probably won't use any other. Any other gear other than F.O.A. gear, and I definitely won't use any other reel than an Ancient Mariner reel on any of my rods, any of my F.O.A. rods. That's how much I trust them. That's how much I believe in that product. So, and just take that for what it is. I'm just an average angler out here, but I definitely wouldn't promote something I don't believe in. That's for sure.
Well, that was one thing we did too. We switched to all F.O.A. on our boat as well. For anybody who, it was mostly my wife was the biggest influence on that. We tried several different other brands. She could not cast them. They all loaded different in a way that she couldn't do it comfortably. But for those who are either newer to casting or just a smaller person and so can't get the same kind of leverage, those rods, the spinning ones especially, is what we got most of now. But they all load up nice. They're just the way the bend is, the way the tip is. I mean, it's very easy to load up, and so you can get some decent casts out much easier. My wife actually enjoys casting those rods rather than just making me do it all now. So,
so I'm looking at the Ancient Mariner 6000 reels, actually at a $79 price point right now.
Oh wow.
The 6000s, the albatross reels are $100, but that's still a fantastic deal when you throw in the lifetime warranty. So as long as you own that reel, if anything goes wrong with it, you send it back to the Captain Spearon, he'll fix it and send it back to you.
That's awesome.
I mean, as long as you don't run over it with a car and say, "Hey, this broke for some reason," then he'll do what he can to fix your reel and send it back to you. So, like I said, if you go to Rivercast Tackle, I'm looking at the website right now. Go to rivercasttackle.com. They've got the albatross reels. They've got the 6000 reels. They've got all the rods on there. And like I said, there's free shipping for those and a lifetime warranty. So,
and you get 10% if you use some of the discount code.
And you save 10%.
So yeah, that's that 79 really is a 72. So
yep. So go check them out. But as always, thank you all so much for coming out and joining us this evening. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. As always, if anybody ever has any recommendations or suggestions about what you want to see on the show or anything, any questions you'd like us to answer, please let me know. teamsnaggingwhiskers@gmail.com. Hope you look forward to watching Whiskers Gone Wild next Saturday night, 10 p.m. over at Yak Fishing Adventures.
It'll be a good one for sure. If nothing else, Dustin and I'll have a good time.
Absolutely, and hopefully we'll put some monster fish in the boat.
That would be the cherry on top for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Sandy Toes, appreciate y'all coming in. Thank you all so much for your comments, your chatting. to keep us going. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and we will see everybody next Thursday. Have a great weekend.